Hello, hello, guys. I know. If you follow me on Instagram, you know it's like the fringe thing. I don't know if I should like leave it like this. I feel like it's been kind of acting strange today. It's just I don't know. Okay, I'll just leave it like this. I'll leave it like this and then like I can switch up in another video. Look at this. I feel like I'm 5 again. Oh man. If I remembered what that felt like. Anyway, so hi guys, if you haven't been to my channel before, I'm just gonna swoop because I'm gonna end up fucking with it the whole time. But if you haven't been to my channel before, I am Starbraid. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. So I'm just so giddy for some reason right now. Don't really need a reason, but next week is gonna start all the different series. I had a different video for today, but I kind of want to redo it because like there was some points about purity culture that I didn't get in there that I really wanted to. So I'm gonna redo that, and it's Free Yourself Friday. So I was like, you know what? We'll talk about something that I kind of touched on Instagram and Facebook. If you follow me on those, if you don't, feel free. I also read tarot, and I am going to be doing, you guys voted, and it's personal growth. So that is what's coming to you, as well as divine feminine, divine masculine, but they aren't going to be as prominent because of the votes, unless I just feel led to, then I'll just do both. But here's the thing. So today you saw the title, so obviously you know what we're going to talk about, and that's unrequited love. I am very, very familiar with this. Probably more than I'd like to admit. Why? Because it's just fucking happened. It's happened a few times. And I am going to go through what I've learned and what I think that might be the reason, that could help you guys. Because I got a lot of responses to it, a lot of positive things, as well as more information. People want more information. They're like, why don't you do a video on this? And I was like, I can, ma'am. I planned on it. So let's start. This is Tea Talk. You can have, this is Free Yourself Friday. It's still a part of the same journal if you do Tea Talk Tuesday. That's right. Yeah, I'm going to have a name for each one. And there's going to be a playlist for them as well. So this is Free Yourself Friday, which means we're going to be talking about ways that we can free ourselves from certain attachments, certain expectations, certain emotions, just things that no longer serve us, and as well as me just sharing my experiences with you in hopes that maybe it could give you a new perspective. You don't have to take it. You can leave it. You don't have to like it. If you don't like it, you are free to leave. The great thing about this is that it's a video. You can click off. So we're going to be talking about unrequited love. And this is a touchy subject for some people because for some reason it's so hard to accept sometimes that we feel so strongly for a person and they just don't feel the same back. And I get it. It's heartbreaking. And if you're on the other side, it's heartbreaking still if you really care about the person, unless you're a complete asshole. I don't even know why you're watching this, but just kidding. You're welcome. You're welcome to watch this. Obviously, you're not as much of an asshole than you think you are if you're watching this. But look, I'm just going to go over some certain points that I'd like to make. And first of it being expectations is a huge part of it. Now, I know, and I will talk about this in the purity culture video. I was kind of hoping I'd get the purity culture video out before this because it really has a lot of backup for the reasons why I did what I did. It was in a religious setting. A lot of the messages that we got kind of just scattered us completely. And like those of us who have been in it kind of fucked up now. Not all of us, but a lot of us. Most of us, I would say. So, I mean, that's just what it is. And it's attachments. It's attachments. I think that when we, here's the thing. In my experience, when I started to like somebody, it was, for me, reflecting back on it, it was from a codependent perspective, except once. So I guess 50-50. One time was out of codependency. The other one was just out of like pure soul recognition, almost. Like I just connected with the person. But on one of them, you know, and I will go over relationships as well, but mainly for those who may not have even reached that point with this person. There is always something within us that for some reason we want another person to heal. And it's not conscious most of the time. It's just like we search for people who can kind of fill that void within us subconsciously, because we've been taught that. We've been taught that being in a relationship will somehow be fulfilling. And, you know, it can be, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful union if you, you know, every experience that you get, even if it turns out bad, there's always a lesson in it. But unrequited love is so painful. And I'm going to start with the person in love. Now, some of you may have like completely not had any intention on falling in love with this person. You may have fought it and fought it. But really, just from experience, if you look back on it and you're completely honest, of course you found the person attractive. Of course there was something in them already that you really, really liked. You know, whether it be something superficial or something deeper. There was something there already. And I think that as we get closer to the person, either we idealize things or maybe they are just a wonderful person and we just start to fall for them. And you know, you start daydreaming. You're so happy when they're around. You want to be wherever they want to be. It's just them. Sometimes you'll even get to a point where you'll settle for just being the friend, or just, you know, and mind you, you can be friends, and I'll get to that eventually, but with healthy boundaries. You know, once you learn that this person can't feel the same about you. But you start getting these attachments in your head that, you know, this person must feel for me. We do everything together. We talk about everything. I can't stop thinking about them, blah, 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 blah. You know, the thing is, even if they did like you back, but they deny it, should be an indicator that it's time to move forward in a different direction. And I know it's not that hard. Or not that hard. It's not that easy. It is very hard. You know, being on that side of the fence can be very destructive if you don't know how to navigate your feelings correctly, and if you don't know how to kind of take a step back and love on yourself a little bit. You know, I think that's the biggest thing, is that it comes from, I'm going to knock this coffee over in one of these videos, so you guys just stay tuned, you know what I mean? You want a show? We'll have it. Anyway, I feel like it definitely comes from 3 things, and I think I listed this in the other video. Lack of self-love, lack of self-confidence, you know, and self-validation. It's, you know, which you can think confidence and validation go hand in hand, but, you know, it's just self-love in general could just be the umbrella for it all. Loving yourself enough to know what you want, to know what, if you are to have any expectations, there's a difference between expectations and standards. Standards are there to help protect you from certain energy, especially if you have a history of loving people that you probably had no like business being involved with, which I say that very lightly because every relationship is a lesson, including these. So you didn't waste your time. If you're there right now, I think it's time to really start reflecting on yourself and how you love yourself, how you see yourself, how you protect yourself. Let me take a look at my notes here. You know, yeah, loving ourselves entirely and understanding that it starts with us. I know that in my experience, I'm just going to start with the one with the codependency side. This guy literally did nothing to, I mean, he was a great, don't get me wrong, he was a very sweet guy, but it was very like, just, I don't know, it was just one of those things where it's like, I was very Christian at the time, so was he. Don't get me wrong, I really did love the guy. Like, I loved him as a friend, but I think it was emotion transference. Great guy, but it's just kind of like, he really didn't do anything for me to, like, be so madly in love with him. Maybe it was a soul thing, but I really just think it was a codependency thing. I was a teenager, my God. And it was unrequited for a very, very long time, and I just I look back on it and I was just like, you know what, I wouldn't change it, because guess what, I had some great memories, and some of my best poetry came from him. And you know, that's I think that's a point where I hope that it gives you hope that I look back on this and I kind of just laugh, because you do get through it. And you do work through it, and you do learn things, and you do apply it to your life. Now, going into the next one, where it was unrequited, I was a lot more resistant to it, because it wasn't a good time. It wasn't something I wanted, but it was definitely there. It was there the whole time. Like, I just kind of, this person, I saw them before. I didn't realize I saw them before. I just wasn't in a position to see them, if that makes sense. And then once I did see them, it was like soul recognition. It was just like, I know you. I don't know how I know you. And I'm not just talking about maybe like seeing you pass by before. I'm talking, I know you. Like, I see that soul. It scares me. But I still want to get to know you. So, and you know, that it was a lot more intense. It was very, I denied it and denied it. I have my journals. I was in such denial, and then finally just accepted it. Now, that didn't go down very well, because of expectation, because of attachment. I was still very codependent at that time. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know how to validate myself. I was always wondering how I was unworthy of this person, but yet somehow still wanted them to be with me. It's like, how the fuck are you supposed to, like, you know, be the best version of yourself while you're sitting there being like, oh, they won't ever love me. You know, just keep fucking with your head. It's like, you know what you're worth deep down. You do, or else you wouldn't be so upset. And I think this is where the worlds collide. It's like, we don't know how to validate ourselves. We don't know how to love ourselves, yet we still feel obligated or worthy, or like we're entitled to reciprocated feelings. It's like, I gave you everything. Well, if you feel like you are owed something because you gave away your heart in some way, I want you to reflect on that, because I had to reflect on that as well. It's not like, you know, it's just, you have to understand, if someone can't feel the same for you, they just can't. It's not their fault. It's not that they don't see how wonderful you are. It doesn't mean that they're not wonderful. It just means that it's just not there for them for a variety of reasons. And you have to love yourself enough to create boundaries where it's like, hey, this, you know, if I'm developing feelings and I kind of let them know, and they say, I can't feel that way for you, then I feel like it's time to look at yourself, for us to look at ourselves, so to speak. Be like, okay, well, they can't. What steps do I need to take so that I can kind of just let this be and let this, you know, let this go? And, you know, you can't obsess about if they're lying. You can't obsess about it. Even if everything indicates that they do have feelings for you, you can't obsess about that. The thing is, you're gonna have to take their word for it. If they're not taking actions, you're gonna have to take their actions for it. You're gonna have to take things at face value in that sense. And I understand our need to be like, why, you know, and it's just, you love them. Okay, that's not a bad thing. It's a wonderful feeling, but you have to know how to set boundaries. You have to know how to navigate your feelings and not transfer them and really deal with them. And really look at why you love somebody who cannot love you back. Is there a wound that you're trying to fill and putting that pressure on this other person? Is that what you're trying to do? Because most of the time it really is. And it triggers something within you because of whether you fear rejection. I think everybody does. Fear of abandonment and stuff like that. You know, this is where we're getting real. And this is where the self-love comes in. And I feel like if we just take some time to really love ourselves and realize our worth, and also recognize that that doesn't mean they're unworthy. You know, I hear a lot of times it's like, you know what, he didn't deserve you, and they didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, I like to use the friend situation a lot because that happened with me. Okay? Don't get me wrong, your friends may literally think that, but here's the thing. I truly believe everyone is worthy of love. And, you know, they are enough. You know, they can work on themselves. Everyone has an opportunity to change. However, you know, just because someone can't reciprocate love for you doesn't make them any less worthy of love. And that doesn't mean that they don't see your worth. There could be a variety of reasons. Take, for instance, I used to blame like my weight for someone not loving me or whatever. And it's just like, you know what? If that is the case, that is not my personal problem. That's not a problem. It's just that's something they can't, that it's not there. And physical attraction is important. You know what I mean? So it's just like, don't take everything so personally. If you know the person is unavailable, whether they be in a relationship, sexual orientation, maybe you just don't see eye to eye on certain things that they really need in their life, especially in the spiritual aspect. They need to feel that freedom. Here's the thing. That could be a reason. There could be a variety of reasons. And here's the thing. You can't control that. The only thing you need to get a grip on is that love for yourself, that validation that you can give to yourself, feeling whole within yourself, happy when you are alone, happy when, not saying that, you know, you don't want a relationship or a partner. I think that a lot of us, you know, make sure it's not from conditioning, but I think it's natural for a lot of us to just kind of want a partner. And it's also natural for us to be scared of having a partner. And, you know, you have to figure out what's going on within you. And then that doesn't take away their worth, because you're not entitled to reciprocated feelings. You're just not. And if you find yourself in a position where it hurts a lot, you need to take steps to get yourself out of it. Do you need to not talk to them for a little bit and really communicate that? Don't go ignoring that. Communicate. Try your best. And be like, look, I can't talk to you right now. Like, I have these feelings for you. I've already told you that. And I just need some time. You know what I mean? And I'm sure if they are a true friend, they will understand. If you need to just like take steps, don't jump into another relationship. You know, jump in a relationship with yourself, because there's something within you that you wanted that other person to fill. It could be that maybe you didn't feel loved by your parents. Maybe you didn't feel loved by those around you. It could be past life trauma. It could be anything where you wanted that person, like, if I could just get that person to fall in love with me, then I'll be like validated that I am worthy of love. And that is not how it works. You have to be the one to validate that. You have to be the one to recognize that for yourself, within yourself. And if you're on the other side of this and you're just kind of confused and you're just kind of like, what, why? Like, it's such a weird position to be in, I think, when someone loves you and you love them, just not like that. And, you know, I'm going to offer you some advice too, because this can get sticky as well. Now, it could just be that you just don't see them like that. And that's fair, fam. You know, you're not physically attracted to them. you're not like emotionally attracted to them. You know, there's just something not there, okay? And that is fine as long as you know and you've done your work. Now, sometimes I think it's less attractive when we know a person wants us. It's so weird. Okay, like I understand the chase, but it's just kind of like, what the fuck is going on with us as a society? Like, what the hell? Like, we're all like, I want to be loved, and then it's just like someone loves you and you're like, oh hell no. It's the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. And oh man, I had to find myself on this so many times. It's like, is something wrong with me? Ugh. And I think it's not a bad thing to look at yourself and see if there's some issues to resolve within yourself. If you're open to being loved, there is a difference being open to love others, which is a one-way ticket to a lopsided relationship, an uneven give and take. Let me tell you that. And receiving love. I cannot tell you how hard I have worked and how like I have yet to put it to the test. I hope I pass where I can receive love. And I think that it's just as hard. It's, if not harder, to receive love. And because guess what? You don't have an out. You know what I mean? It's you for some reason we have this idea in our head that we're going to be trapped. And it's like, not if you love them too. It's freeing. If you're with a person that you are on a vibrational level with, it's going to be a freeing relationship. And anything other than that, then you know it's lopsided and it's time to go. You know, it's just one of those things where don't be afraid of being wrong. And as long as you're self-aware and you understand these parts of yourself, and you can even communicate this to that person. You know, like I don't know how to be loved right now. Don't wait for me, because it's don't keep a warm body by you. I'm not saying that whoever watches this is going to do that. And if you are on the other end, don't be the warm body, and know when you are. So I feel like as long as we are self-aware, just like I'm trying to be self-aware of what's going on in my house. Chewy, what are you doing? Anyway. These crazy kids. But as long as we're self-aware about what's going on, I don't think that, you know, this is a learning thing. There are no short answers. It is not black and white. There are sometimes people who are absolutely in love with someone and the other person is just crazy about them too. And for some reason, one is open to it and one is not. Sometimes, and you can't hold on to that, by the way. You have to see things as they are. You have to work on yourself and love yourself. I just want to throw that in there. Sometimes it's legit. One person loves the other person and they're attracted to people that are emotionally unavailable. Hello. You know what I mean? Like, can I hear you out there? I don't mind stomping on your toes. And the other person is just like an asshole and takes it all, or they're just like, I'm sorry, like I really love you, but not like that. You know, it's just one of those situations, guys, that is not black and white. I have no black and white answers for you. All I can say is that if you love yourself and you're, you know, self-aware of who you are and you really face these things within yourself, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that your love was wrong. I'm not saying that love was not real. I'm not saying any of that. The biggest thing is loving yourself and being self-aware on both sides and seeing that part of yourself that is, you know, because the receiving love thing for the other side, guess what? That's in their side as well. Because if they're loving somebody that they know they can't get, that is emotionally detached, I feel that's also a rejection to receive love. It's so much easier to love you because, you know, they're scared of being loved back. It's not as interesting. It's not as fun. It's what they're used to. It's a thing. It's kind of toxic, and it's something that they need to work within themselves, and it's not your responsibility. If you have to make the move of, you know, saying, hey, like, I can't be this person for you, and let's say they're getting all crazy and jealous and, stuff like that, and you understand that it's just not there, then you can calmly tell them, hey, like, this isn't a thing. I'm not meaning to hurt you, but you, like, I know that, you know, there's nothing wrong with trying to set boundaries for yourself and doing it in a healthy way. But make them clear. You need to, on both ends. And I feel like it's just one of those situations that you can be conscious about or not. And to be honest, like the first one, I look back and I laugh. And then on the second one, I look back and there are certain things I wish that were done differently. But there are also things that I recognize that could have gone down better. And both parties had, like, just played a part. And it's just kind of like one of those things you need to be careful with and have a lot of love and have a lot of patience and make sure what you're doing is from a place of love. So anyway, I love you guys. I'd like to pull a card. I know this was long, but usually these are long. I try to keep them at 20 minutes. It never works out. It just never works out. It's just like, whatever. It is what it is. So we're going to pull a card. If you're not, did I say that I read tarot at the beginning of this? You're just like, whoa, where'd those come from? No, I don't know if I did or not. I can't remember. But yeah, I do that. So let's just move the copies so I don't knock shit over. God. Okay, let's see what Spirit has to say. Dance. Do something to shift your vibration. So if you're going through this right now, it's kind of like what I said. Do something different. Do something that changes your perspective about the situation. Be clear about what you want in a relationship. That includes friendships, but be clear and stick to your standards. I'm not saying make a nice, lengthy, long list. I'm saying healthy boundaries. Where are you being called to journey to? So it's like, what parts of yourself, I feel like with these two, it's like, what parts of yourself do you need to travel to, need to really look within? Do you need to journey, maybe just getting away for a while from the situation, from town? I just did that. I was hurting for 2 days after. I mean, after you jump for 3 hours straight at a concert, I mean, my God, you're not going to feel awesome. Protection. Call back your power. Cut cords. Soul retrieval. So yes, now this, I'm going to go from a friend side and like a toxic side. So if you're in a relationship or you're with someone that won't commit, but like you're doing everything a couple will, and they're just taking and taking and taking and taking. And I'm not saying that they are intentional about doing those things, but they don't have to for it to be painful and toxic. It may be a good time to reflect on how you can love yourself enough to cut ties and love yourself and stand strong in your personal power and understand your worth so that you don't settle for anything less, even with a good person, which takes me to the friend zone. Fam. Look, they could be the break the chains, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Damn. They could be the most amazing person on the planet. And nothing will discredit that. Not even a lack of reciprocated feelings. But, like, it is probably a good time to kind of see, if your friends, it's obvious where it developed, but there was probably always something there. It may be a good time to communicate with them how you feel. Get real with them. If you're on the other side, get real with them if it's starting to bother you. I've had to do this. And if they're truly your friend, if they're truly a soulmate, a part of your soul tribe, it's a lesson you guys can learn together and in peace. But, I think we all are worthy of love. And sometimes we can get these situations, but there's always something to learn. And I think the biggest lesson is learning your self-worth, learning personal boundaries, learning what you want in a relationship and how you don't want to feel so alone. when you're with somebody, and those feelings not be reciprocated. You're not, you're worthy of so much more than that. Just as the other person, I'm sure that they want that for you if they're your friend. And, if they're just an asshole and take, then it's time to kick them to the curb. I mean, bye. So anyway, guys, I love you. Thank you for having this, Free Yourself Friday talk with me. I hope you liked it. And follow me on social media. It's star_braid on Instagram. I'm there the most, but I am on Facebook. So, there you have it. But I love you, and I will see you in future videos. Bye.